The avalanche risk is climbing on Vancouver Island, and a pair of skiers found that out the hard way. They were caught in a Class 2 avalanche in the backcountry just north of Mount Washington. As CTV's Gord Kurbis shows us, rescuers say it's an unfortunate reminder of what can happen when people ignore the warnings.
Every time he heads into the backcountry, Al Rains makes sure he's prepared for danger.
Absolutely. Every day we're checking for what the conditions are like, and we've all had our training and we all have our monitors and stuff.
The avid snowmobiler knows the risks of avalanches.
We're the most likely to set off an avalanche, but some of the backcountry skiers and boarders I've heard don't have their stuff.
People not having their stuff or not checking conditions is a constant worry for avalanche forecasters like Cliff Umpley. He says yesterday 2 men in their 20s from the Comox Valley were caught up in an avalanche. It happened northwest of Mount Washington, outside of their ski boundary in an area called the North Ridge.
They had entered into the slope. They had noted there were some instabilities going on. They continued down into the slope. There was a small avalanche released initially, from what I heard, and then a bigger one was triggered by them.
Umpley says it was a close call for the two, but they weren't injured and managed to dig themselves out.
And the one skier was pulled quite a ways down, partially buried, managed to fight his way out, and the avalanche stopped just before it rolled off into a big cliffy section.
Back on January 8th, one skier was seriously injured when he and 3 others got caught in a larger avalanche on Mount Strata. Umpley was actually the first to reach the group that night.
I think it's important to realize that when the bulletin is saying, you know, be careful out there, read the hazard ratings, that people need to pay attention to that, and you know, because there are consequences.
Avalanche forecasters say what often frustrates them is people will take a look at their hazard ratings and then overestimate their abilities to handle those dangers. Either that, or when they head into the backcountry, they will underestimate the life-threatening terrain that they're heading into.
If I look at the terrain choice yesterday and I look at the hazard, really there was no reason to be going there.
The conditions can be viewed at islandavalanchebulletin.com. Gord Kurbis, CTV News.